Welcome, welcome. My name is idiomatically. You may call me Alexander. Let's get down to business. I'm not introducing a new topic into discussion by talking about the issue of black ignorance or the stereotype of black people being overly ignorant or having an aversion to education. It's almost as if some people in the race want to perpetuate that stereotype, as if they enjoy it, as if they're giving some kind of gift to future generations by keeping ignorance in fashion. It's almost ensuring extinction for future generations. And some people may wonder, well, what do you mean by that? How can people go extinct without being killed off? Well, if you start to lose your identity, if you start to lose a grasp of who you are, because you have to understand that everything that black Americans are in America is what we have been told or what we have made of ourselves. I think of the Italians and how they had stereotypes of being mobsters and gangsters and criminals, things like that. Not so much now, but there is still that stereotype, and it was prevalent back in the 20s. And even though they had that stereotype, it wasn't as if every Italian was assumed to be a mobster. They had still their own culture to go back to. They had their own country they could call their own. They have their own languages. The black people in America don't have that. All we have is America. So when I say that black people could go extinct, no, they won't fall off the face of the planet. But who they are, who they think they are, their self-identity, their self-worth, their pride, all that will disappear. Because without education, without an idea of who you are, how do you preserve yourself? How do you reach out to future generations and show them that you were here and this is what you did and this is what you stood for? There are some of us who see the current culture as dangerous and self-destructive. There are some of us who see self-enlightenment and education not as shackles, but as keys to doorways of progress. You have to keep in mind that no one ever progressed in life. No one has ever progressed in life being an ignorant gangster. Even Scarface died in the end. And as I was mentioning about the Italians, that whole fad has kind of died away. Yeah, it stays in movies and Hollywood and things like that, but for the most part, blacks are the new gangsters. And we cannot continue to be gangsters. We cannot continue to keep up that fad. That's entertainment. That's Hollywood. That's what other people want us to be. We shouldn't be that. And so when we have any adult figure that turns away from that type of culture, that says that no, things don't have to be like this. No, you don't have to get money like this. No, you don't have to raise your kids like this. No, you don't have to listen to that type of music. It's always interesting to see how he's accepted or rejected by the black community. I want to touch lightly on the subject of Barack Obama. If I may skip past politics and just look at the man himself, I think that Obama, no matter if you agree with his particular politics or not, should be a symbol of progress for black men. Of course, we have had other black intellects before, and we will continue to have them afterwards as well. However, it is Obama's mass appeal to not only Americans, but the world audience as well, that should encourage black youth that the world is ready to accept an educated black man. There should no longer be any shame in having straight A's. There should not be any fear of losing the title of black because you do good in school, because you're not athletic, or because you don't behave a certain way that popular culture is deemed black. And it's funny that all the things that popular culture is willing to accept from black people are destructive things. That's a problem. Even though Obama's election doesn't necessarily mean the end of ugly and destructive stereotypes for black youth, it should, and it does, represent a change. But it should show you that education is not something to be feared. It should show you that you can still be intelligent and still be black. It seems like that's a taboo. So I dare say, you're intelligent and black? No, you're white. And really, whose fault is it that education is now exclusively owned by whites and Asians? Why is it un-black to know anything? If there's any real poison in our society, it is the horrible self-image blacks have of themselves. And here I go quoting Bob Marley again, but emancipate yourself from mental slavery. No one but ourselves can free our minds. And I believe until we educate and emancipate ourselves, we will continue to let other people define who we are, because we won't be able to speak for ourselves.